Good morning, everyone. Frazzled, Amanda Panda. I actually didn't plan on coming on here, but I've been up for a couple hours watching this storm. So I thought I might just hop on and check it out with you guys for a minute. Hello, Nina, Mother Earth. As you can tell, I didn't get myself ready or anything. I just hopped on. Bought sweet new water. I cannot handle that. It's so funny. Hello, Mama's the Boss. Good morning. Mothership. Good morning, everyone. I'll put the sound on this. One of the cities, or the Cedar Key, looked pretty bad earlier. I hope everyone's gotten out. Good morning, Pistol Packing. Steph. I know. It is. It's looking pretty bad. I'm going to put this sound on. Good morning, DC. Tish, hello.
The rest of the day will be a little bit better than the first of the day. So what we'll do is we'll zoom into Palmetto, and again, you're going to be in and out of rain bands, right? You just had one pretty strong rain band move over top of you over Bradenton, Palmetto, but now it's moved well off to the northeast. What's behind it right now?
Good morning,
There's really not much, actually. By the time you get more rain in Palmetto, it's probably going to be another hour or two. But again, rain bands will become fewer and more far between as we get into the latter part of the morning, into the afternoon. As Idelia pulls away, you can see, you look at Southwest Florida and you see, oh, here comes a rain band into Fort Myers, but there's really not much else south of that. And of course, there's a tornado warning that's down in DeSoto County, actually part of Sarasota County too. So this is a brand new one. And, I could use this as an example of, okay, now we've got a tornado warning. So let's look first at our tools here on Max Defender 8. And so first we're going to look at the shear rate, and we're going to zoom into where the storm is at in DeSoto County. I'm not really seeing much in the way of shear. And then we look at the relative velocity. Again, not really seeing much, maybe the beginnings of rotation happening in this general area right here, but we're not seeing the red. If this gray becomes red and we start to see wind rather away from radar, then you could say, okay.
Well, I hope that's all that happens, Imwit. Should you leave, you think? Prayers for you for sure. Mama's a boss. You got to give it to him, though. I guess he will do it. He is not about to not. But I wouldn't. Look at that. I had the thumbnail picture. I took a screenshot of my phone of that hotel, and already the stop sign had blown over. I thought I would go back and forth from here and then to the Weather Channel also.
You can see it right here, Cedar Key, well to the west of Crystal River, and you can see where the center is. Well to the southeast of that is where Cedar Key is. But either way, the entire portion of the Big Bend area, you're seeing that wind perpendicular. It's directly blowing that Gulf water onto land directly. And that's when you're going to get the worst of the storm surge. Of course, it's still very windy there, and the wind is driving that water onto land. And can you still see the? Wait a minute. What is that? Oh, there's something floating along pretty close to the marker there.
The pole.
I was gonna say, boy, that looks like a kayak. I'm pray there's no people in there.
And just to prove that I'm not losing my mind, that people are really asking about the status of the stop sign. This is from Hannah on the WFLA-JB Instagram page on IG Live. Hashtag Hey Eric, how is the stop sign in Keaton? Is it still Keaton?
It is.
So it's not,
we just saw
Sure,
it.
Linda,
It's
hear
not
that.
Keaton Beach. That's Cedar
great.
Key. Just to be
Right.
clear. But
The stop signs in Keaton may not be faring as well, but you still see it in the bottom right portion of your screen. It's keeping its head above water. I mean, look at that.
No,
it's still pretty remarkable.
BFAM, I'm in Arizona. Yeah, I was just up for the last couple of hours. I've been sleeping off and on, but watching this. So I finally thought, well, I'm going to get some coffee and watch it. So I thought, well, I'll just go on, see how everybody's doing. Oh, we're dry as a bone over here. Hey, just Jake. Yes, I think you're right, just Jake. I think you're right. Right, the storm chasers. Yeah. Let me go over there for a second. Yes, everybody stay safe, please. And DC, you absolutely have got to. You have to. Good morning, Jenny. Let's see.
Yeah, here's an interesting take on this. This is from a major hurricane that passed 125 miles west of Tampa Bay. I can't imagine what it would look like if one of this magnitude came closer.
Goodness.
That's a very good point. Like Tampa has obviously seen pretty significant impacts from both of our most recent major hurricanes, Ian and Idalia. But Tampa honestly has gotten so lucky with both of them where it's been significantly missed. So if something like this happened closer to Tampa, it would definitely be a bad situation. And I hope that this recent uptick in activity along the western side of Florida has the officials there thinking about how to upgrade their infrastructure to handle it if it currently can't. Oh, here we go. This is what I needed.
Valdosta.
Valdosta. Is that right? Because I saw people in chat saying it was like pasta. It's not posta.
Valdosta.
Valdosta. Okay.
Valdosta.
I'll say it right. That's Google.
Hopefully
Google
none of you
cannot
are
be
in
wrong.
this.
I'm going with that from now on. I don't want to dwell on this
In
too
the
much, or we'll
Panhandle.
spend 80 hours just talking about how I'm saying every town name wrong. Google was wrong.
Yeah. Yep, you're right, Amanda Panda. You're right.
All right, Valdosta.
Good morning, Evelyn.
Valdosta. That's what I'm sticking with. We do have several tornado warnings that were just issued, so I want to go through those one at a time. Well, not just issued, that have been issued. We have the one here near Dade City. This is for Lumberton. This is a tornado warning that is going to be for Pasco County, Florida. And once again, Zephyr Hills, Lumberton, and Port Lonesome. You guys are in the path of this. Take shelter now. More recent one, though, is going to be over here in DeSoto, Hardy, and Sarasota County, Florida. This is the Arcadia region. Once again, lots of tornadoes have been trying to happen out here today. The rotation on this one doesn't look too impressive, but definitely get to shelter if you're in Pine Level or Cubitus. And then if we go up towards Georgia, we have another tornado warning for Retreat or LeCount, South Newport, and Chimney Villa in Georgia. So lots of areas of rotation that are being warned. I don't think we have any reported ones right now, but Andy's got some information for us. So go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, Ryan. I've only seen one confirmed tornado out of all of these since this morning, and it was one of those many that have occurred into the area near Arcadia in Florida. So that was one of the earliest ones, the first ones we saw. But you just commented on how it doesn't look too impressive, but to still take it seriously, and I want to back that up because a lot of the tornado warnings that we look at that are a couple thousand feet up is where we're scanning into the storm. They're far away from the radar sites. Still have the chance to actually produce tornadoes that can do some damage. And we're not going to be able to see them when we're looking that far up because all of these tropical tornadoes are going to have very shallow layers of rotation in the storm. Very shallow mesocyclones is what we call those. So quite often we're going to see what looks, like, wow, why did they warn that? But when we're looking far away,
He
it's
does,
very
Mothership.
possible
I
that
didn't even
all of
notice
that
that.
spin is taking place in the lowest level of the atmosphere, and the radar might not be catching that very well. So I want to reemphasize that any warning that is issued today, since we'll probably see several through the afternoon, to take it seriously.
Okay. Thank you very much, Andy.
Good morning,
We've got to
Jenna.
take this seriously. This is, a very interesting thing about hurricane coverage. The landfall is obviously usually the most destructive part, the most interesting part. This is the part that everybody cares about. And then it doesn't stop there. There's so many other things that happen whenever the hurricanes are the strongest and most powerful and the biggest storms that happen on Earth. And then the strongest ones of those are crazy systems. So we're going to have tornadoes up and down the peninsula of Florida, up through Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. We're going to have devastating flash flooding and continued hurricane force winds all the way up into South Carolina. So just know that, even though the storm is over land now and it is weakening, it's official. This thing is very slowly but surely weakening. It's still going to be a huge impact event for so many people. So we're going to be covering these tornado warnings very closely and all the flash flood warnings because I think we're going to see a lot more of them as time goes on. Y'all's Force One was on the move for a bit. I think they're just assessing the damage near them. We might get an update from them soon, but I think that for the most part, other than the 2 or 3 semis that were flipped, we're doing okay there. Go ahead, guys.
Hey, Ryan, I just heard you talking about it, so I figured we'd jump in. We're actually trying to find a bathroom. I mean, it's really complicated to find one when there's no power anywhere. But when we popped across the road to the Loves, there's pretty significant tree damage there. And then the canopy,
Morning,
above the
sweet
gas
pea.
station, has been completely shredded. It's on top of cars. It looked like the front of the Loves may have had some debris in the windows.
Yeah, we had to dodge debris.
But we had to dodge debris multiple times, just even trying to move across the road, flying pieces of sheet metal. So, yeah.
Okay. All
That's
right.
pretty much going on right now.
You guys be careful and good luck on your quest to find a bathroom. I'm sure I'll utilize our team to help you find one if you need. Okay. All right. Yeah, obviously lots of damage, even as far inland as Lee, Florida, which is where our guys are. And they're in the center of circulation now. So things are pretty quiet, or they're calming down at least. And that'll last for about an hour or so. And then we'll probably see the increase of winds once again as the backside of the storm comes through. I'd say things are pretty wild right now in Madison. We don't have any storm chasers, I don't think, in Madison. In fact, Carly, if you could look through some of our brokers and see if we've got anybody else that's maybe in farther inland that we can maybe go away from the Cedar Key camera for a minute or something like that. We can start trying to
Morning, Chainsaw.
expand our coverage a little bit as we see the storm
Welcome.
approach Valdosta. But yeah, Madison right now is getting rocked by the damaging winds, probably similar or slightly less than, but similar to what we saw near Perry with lots of downed power lines and trees and stuff happening. That's going to continue up towards Cherry Lake and Leyland and Belleville here soon. So get ready for that. Remember, take shelter as if this was a tornado. That's the best thing to do right now. A surge is finally dropping in Cedar Key. Surge is finally dropping in Cedar Key. Thought I had a camera to show you there, but it went black. No, I totally get it. I'm seeing some of the tweets now in support of. Listen, it's okay if I was watching news coverage or the weather and somebody said my town name wrong, I would be upset too. I get it. I'm trying my best, and I cover the weather for the whole United States, and Valdosta in a different state that they will pronounce it Valdosta. Some of them will say Valdesta, and if I don't get it right the first time, then it's a big deal. But hey, nobody really points out whenever I do get it right, which is quite a bit of the time. All right, it's just a big deal whenever I mess up.
Good morning.
All right, go ahead, Riley. What's up?
Good morning, Jen.
Hey Ryan, there's some reports out of Sarasota County that there's people
Yes, I
swimming in the storm surge.
Sorry.
Okay.
I hope so too,
what are
Mothership.
people doing? Like, you should not be swimming in storm surge. That water is going to go out. And if you're in the water,
Yeah, stay safe, Remy.
And one of the things to think about there is, in a place like Tampa right now, the storm isn't bad, right? It doesn't seem like there's a hurricane going on, but here's all this water. All right. So yeah, it's probably attracting some people to go investigate and see what's going on. But talk about a rip current. Okay. Whenever you're dealing with storm surge, and especially whenever the tide starts to change and things start going backwards a little bit, if you are in the wrong part of that water at the wrong time, you will not survive it. So just keep that in mind. You can't tell people what to do. I certainly can't tell you what to do, but it's my recommendation to not swim in storm surge water, just in case you needed to hear that from me, the YouTube weather guy here. Hopefully you didn't need to hear that from me. Hopefully most of you are being safe and you're staying inside, or you are having a nice day trip outside of the area after you've had to evacuate.
Good morning, Angie.
There's a lot of structure and tree damage in Perry, Florida. We're getting those reports coming in. Got a couple of tweets from Brad Arnold that I'm going to retweet for you. And let's see here. Sarasota, really lots of updates coming from Sarasota and the Tampa Bay area, which is not surprising. We did expect the storm surge to be significant down there, but I think that some people are probably going to be surprised in Tampa because the storm made landfall so far away from Sarasota, Tampa, and all these places. They probably thought they had dodged a significant bullet. I don't think they realized how much of a bullet they did dodge, but still very significant flooding going on all across the Western Florida area right now. I'm retweeting all this stuff. Okay, so actually, all of the tornado warnings that we were covering earlier have been allowed to expire. So that's good news. And it looks like the water in Keaton is also coming down. It looks like it's still coming up in Deckle Beach.
I'm going to put the storm chaser on for a minute. Oh my goodness.
Pretty insane storm surge. And you can see Main Street on the other side. You still see the white caps out there. That's where we deployed the surgeonator sensor. Wow.
That's not coming through so good. I'm not surprised. Oh my goodness.
Certainly the persistent onshore flow out here is keeping the floodwaters high. Reminds me a lot of the hurricane we chased in Venice, Louisiana in 2020, where we were a little bit removed from that Category 3 hurricane, but had a major storm surge, had to wait all night for that to subside. So it definitely takes a long time when you get those prolonged westerly winds on the backside of these tropical cyclones piling up the water. It seemed to try to go through an eyewall replacement cycle right as it arrived in Appalachia Bay. And that may have prevented it from getting up to a Category 4 or even a stronger storm than that. But the storm surge was pretty set in stone. You knew it was going to be a significant storm surge out here along the Nature Coast and beyond. Now, going to be shifting to the tornado potential with that tropical cyclone as it moves through southern Georgia.
Good morning, roses are red. I hope he's safe where he's at. It is chainsaw. So much going on right now with all these tornado warnings on top of all this. Jeez. Have you spoke to your family, Angie?
Oh my gosh.
Kind of muddy, but I think it's okay. Don't get too far off the road.
Connor, my estimates were correct. Highest recorded gust in Perry was 100.6 miles per hour. My 101 was pretty correct.
Bro, they have an enhanced tornado.
Fun.
Bro, I
don't even speak to me about storm shit right now. I think it's safe to say we intercepted about 12 tornadoes. Add it to your count, man. Bro. Oh, big trees must be down up here.
We got a tree down.
Cannon, I posted the video of me and the hurricane.
Good morning, Sassy
And some
Charlotte.
chick named Jenny is woke and believes in equality for all commented, "This is why women live longer." Bro, what?
Wow, both sides of the road blocked at the same spot. What a horrible coincidence. How did a tree even get blown down in that direction?
Her bio is anti. Yeah.
You're still on stream time. Where are the highlights? Oh my gosh.
Tree that's getting cut down up here, so it's going to be a few minutes.
I'll take a cat nap.
Right, Sassy? I've been switching over to Weather Channel. And WFLA.
Connor's on the money with predicting a low end cap.
Oh, look, I'm going to go back over here for a second. It looks like let's see. Showing a few different areas. Oh my goodness, really? Good morning, Angelica Rules.
Copy on Zello now.
There we go. We got Chris back. Got a copy, but I can't reach him. Oh, here we oh. Okay, yeah, I got you, Chris. What's up?
So service is coming and going. We're sitting in front of the Dollar Tree directly across from the bank where we were at. The bank's roof is completely tore off. The whole front of the Dollar Tree here is completely demolished on the front side, which is right across from the T-Mobile that has all the windows blown out. There was another chaser here that thinks that there actually may have been a spin-up tornado here, but I wouldn't say that because the winds were excessive at the time. We were right around the eye. But yeah, we're finally been able to get a little bit out. My stream still won't turn on. I've tried 50 blue million times. But yeah, that's our current situation now, and I'll update you as soon as I can. Is there anywhere I need to go that you know of?
Not yet. Most of the places that have like the worst damage are still underwater right now, so there's no place to go just yet. But yeah, we've got you loud and clear now, and we'll keep trying your feed, but just keep checking in with us through Zello as much as you can. And by the way, it's actually supported by radar that there could have actually been a spin-up tornado right around where you guys were. It was a really weird signature. It could have been just some sort of interference or something like that, but definitely could have been a little tornado that went by there. So glad you're all right, and it looks like at some point here in the near future we're going to be switching over to kind of focused on the relief side. So stay in touch. And the reason why I'm kind of fumbling over my words here is because there's so much happening. I have like 2 or 3 things that I've been trying to relay here. One of them is that
just let me know, like I was saying,
that FEMA,
I'm going to tell you this real quick before I let you go, because I know I'll lose services as soon as I move from here. We were under the bank. I had my part. There's a huge gust right there. We're still getting gusts over tropical force. But anyhow, we were sitting under the awning, and I had my parking brake set. My car was in park. My foot was on the brake, and my car still moved. The wind pushed the car at least 10 feet under the awning. So,
wow. Okay, so that's an update from Chris. FEMA, it's official. They're saying that they are prepared to support the needs as they arise in areas impacted by Hurricane Idelia. Personnel and resources from across the federal government and voluntary and nonprofit organizations are ready to assist at the request of Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina. That's good to hear. There's so many organizations that are going to need to be involved in the recovery process here. And it's still going to take years. It's still going to take years for this area to probably fully recover. Additionally, the Bradenton Police Department is sharing some photos with the flooding that's going on there. Still, lots of flooding going on in and around Tampa Bay. Lots of flooding going on in and around Tampa Bay. We've got reports of trees falling on campers and trailers in the Tallahassee area. So even way back here in Tallahassee, we've got strong winds. In fact, some of the stronger winds of the day are probably just now moving in with this big outer band here. That's going to move into Tallahassee and likely cause some damage. It's not going to be as bad as what we're seeing coming up into Valdosta, but it's not going to be a fun time in Tallahassee over the next couple of hours. Live Oak, you guys are getting in on some of the strong winds. The heavy rain is really not in this area. We got a lot of dry air, but we're still seeing really strong winds all around this circle here in Live Oak. You're getting that now. You're about to get a break, though. The stronger winds are going to move into Jasper and White Springs as the day goes on. Ryan, how bad do you think it's going to get in Brunswick?
As soon as I switch it over, it goes out again. Here we go.
Can I just sneak through here, guys? Squeeze on by you. Thank you. So AT&T was out in that other town, so I didn't have service or I had a little bit of service. While I was in didn't have much service while we were in the eye wall there. Now I've been up all night, so I just took a little power nap, I guess. Do I have to turn at any point, or does this road just take me to Tallahassee? Probably out of range. Oh no, I see lights. Semi, bro. You're lying. Get up! Right now, we're headed back towards the Tallahassee area to see how that area was impacted. Heading straight into a semi and oncoming traffic. Yeah. Oh, good. Oh, dude, yeah. He was cooking too. You were like dead. There's another tree down too.
It's like chasing Dixie.
Yeah, dude. I'm just trying to like get back to Tallahassee now and not going great. What? Like fun months. Really? I was like, dude, out here in a muscle shirt during her reads. Yeah, about that. Are we on right now? Yeah. Yeah, so I'm.
We made fun.
Oh, guys, dude's wearing a muscle shirt. And trying to like dodge these trees and not get stuck in the median at the same time. It's not a fun game.
I want to feel the full impact of the hurricane. Okay. That means wearing a tank top, and then I wear a tank top.
Yeah. Earth to Freddy. Earth to Freddy.
Good morning, it's me. Just praying for safety. Everybody be safe. Turn around, don't drown. They always tell us here. We get some decent floods around here, but nothing like this. Mostly, of course. Let me see what's happening on WFLA.
So sucked off by the tornado.
I don't know.
Then just like
No, but that was crazy, the eye wall, guys. I'm really mad we didn't have good service there. The AT&T tower was just like down there or something. I don't know. And Verizon wasn't up to power this week.
I was saying.
Well, we got some good video of it, so maybe we can send it Brian's way or something. It's rough. Hope you all-nighter last night, guys.
I think the last 48 hours I've slept for 3 hours, 2 hours.
Dude, I'm mad. My stream did terrible today. Like, it was one of the worst streams I've ever had.
Because there's so much traffic. Or
I don't even know.
How many people do you think were streaming? Like 100?
Yeah, but like usually I carry my own weight at least. Today it was terrible.
You had a good one yesterday.
Yeah, I had more viewers yesterday.
Just driving around,
driving
around. About random stuff.
Then I did that. Like they're in the eye wall. I was like,
I think I'll check out.
noticed after the last pinball tournament I played, which was, a 3-day event down in Fort Myers, that, I had a little soreness in my hands from, believe it or not, pressing the buttons. I know people are probably going to laugh and say, how can you be sore? It's not a contact sport. But when you're using muscles that you're not used to using, or you're using muscles for, a long period of time, then yeah, you do get a little achy. But no, sitting here, these are actually pretty comfortable chairs.
Well, we've been on stream for 4 hours and 21 minutes straight. Would you rather be standing or sitting for 4 hours?
No. I'd rather be sitting.
Okay. Some
Yeah.
people.
How about you?
Some people love to stand. I don't know.
Oh yes.
No, I'd probably rather be sitting.
Absolutely.
A mix of both is best.
Our
but-
morning show, you're right.
Wow.
Our morning show is what, 4.5 hours?
Mhm.
And when I fill in, I'm pretty much standing the whole
on
time.
your feet. Do you feel it? Do you feel those aches afterwards?
Yes, everybody
Not as
affected
much
at
when I'm
all.
playing pinball, because I don't know.
Some people
I
have
guess I'm a
probably
little
been
more
without power for a while.
active with a machine. I'm maneuvering the
Right.
game. It's a 300-pound game. But when I'm just standing around for, and I am doing a lot of walking too. It's not just standing versus, if you're walking,
Good morning, Shabby. Supposed to not do what?
Oh my god. That surge in Cedar Key finally came. Yep. It's hitting the bottom of the houses on the stilts. This house is on stilts. Yeah. It's actually great.
Something live? Is that live?
No. 2 hours ago. Oh, he's on the bridge. Dang, I got a little mesophore right here.
That's crazy. Dude, some of those mesophores were like 1 foot in diameter.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, maybe, Melissa. That might have been the case.
Good morning, Wicked.
How long do you think Reezy be trapped there for?
I get to now. There's got some.
Not as wet. Same thing over here, but just a lot wetter. The Live Oak, these strong winds that are throwing trees around, that's going to be moving into Jasper and White Springs and Hillcote here soon. So get ready for that.
You too, Wicked. Yes. Absolutely.
Carly. Okay, yeah, we still got Brad Arnold up. I thought we lost Brad. Brad is getting really close to Steenhatchee. So we should see some of that flooding firsthand from
Look at
Brad
something.
as he gets closer
Right.
to the area there. Lots of flooding in that area. I'm honestly not looking forward to seeing the aftermath of the Horseshoe Beach, all of that general vicinity. Here is an update. Clearwater Beach. The Clearwater Police Department is showing us floodwaters. Many parts of Clearwater Beach are underwater because of Idelia. This is the view of Beach Walk and South Gulf View Boulevard. The beach is closed with no access allowed. So still seeing ongoing flooding problems
Wow,
from
sassy.
Tampa Bay down to Clearwater, down to Sarasota, Casey Key, all these places. are continuing to be inundated by water. And it looks like we just got a tornado warning associated with the storms that Andy was telling us about. So we're going to go investigate that now on the Radar Omega app. There it is. This includes I-16 between Eden and Bloomingdale, and it includes a little bit of the Richmond Hill area, but it looks like the area of concern, the biggest rotations right here. The storm's actually moving to the north and west. Is odd, but not unheard of, obviously, especially when we have a counterclockwise moving storm system off to our west. This is going to go up towards Pembroke. So everybody over here in Bryan, Chatham, Effingham, and Liberty counties in Georgia need to be taking shelter right now. Don't play around with it.
I think I've got that, Sassy.
US 19 and Highway 44. That's really one of the biggest and busiest intersections here in the Crystal River area. And here at just after 10:30, take a look over here. It is just deathly quiet out here. And I hate to use that word because obviously this could be a very dangerous storm, but I think this is exactly what it is that first responders and emergency workers would like to see at this hour. We have an approaching hurricane. They've
Right,
asked
Jesse,
everybody to
that's
hunker
just
down,
it.
get
High tide.
inland, stay east of 19 if at all possible.
Right.
And it looks very much to that part that is what a lot of folks are doing. Now, across the street from me there, you had asked earlier about whether or not there was gasoline available. I wanted to show people that that's that Wawa station I was talking about. Usually open 24 hours. Tonight, they happen to be roped off. The lights may still be on, but there's nobody home. I can assure you at 4 o'clock, they sent everybody to their own home to hunker down for this storm. Let me show you a little bit of video that I shot for you just a short time ago. Wanted to give you a feeling for what it looks like along US 19 right now, not just from our vantage standpoint, but you can see there that the roadway is really very empty. And then we started to duck back into some of those neighborhoods where we told you that some people were going to try to stick it out. And you can see right there that some of those roadways are already starting to become overcome with the tide. And that's before the high tide rolls in. And that's before the storm surge rolls in. So just want to give you a feeling for what it is that people are already seeing, abnormally high tides that are just going to get more and more dangerous with that storm surge. Back out to a live picture to me, if you would. I would remind you that I spoke with the sheriff from the area, Mr. Pendergrass, Mike Pendergrass, a little bit earlier this evening. He said that there are 18,000 people who live on the west side of US 19 in the Crystal River and Citrus County area. All of them are under a mandatory order to evacuate. Again, we ran into some folks, spoke with them this evening that are going to try and stick it out. Some are on the second floor. Some are still on the first floor. And with a wall of water possibly coming in that could be originally 7 to 11 feet, but even down to, let's say, 5 to 9 feet, that can be dangerous, if not deadly. So some people, again, are going to take that risk, take that chance. The sheriff has told them they will not come and get them once the winds start to pick up. They will not be able to rescue people until it is light, until the winds have reached back down below what would be, in essence, tropical storm strength.
Oh, okay.
So that's a live look here from Cedar Key, Eric.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, they're not getting much rain up there. They're
I'll be in
basically
and
getting a
out.
lot
Jack
of
is
wind, and still they're getting that storm surge. And as Jeff said, they're expecting that storm surge to increase the next several
I'll be
hours
back in
as we
just a
get close
minute.
to high tide, as much as 3 to 5 more feet, right? So we're not seeing much in the way of rain up that way, but that doesn't mean that the worst is over. In fact, it's not even here in the Bay Area, as you can see. Even Cedar Key now not under a tornado watch anymore, as most of that heavy rain is now off to the north and to the northeast. So yeah, you're going to be dealing in Cedar Key with that storm surge, Horseshoe Beach, southward, Crystal River. You're going to be dealing with that all the way through the early and middle part of the afternoon today.
Max Defender 8 radar, a tool that we can use here. And this isn't Max Defender 8. I know presently we were just using Max Defender 8. This is the Tallahassee radar, correct or
Correct.
no?
Yeah.
Is South Carolina in play yet? Oh, and there is a tornado warning
Well,
up
it
near
will be.
Savannah, right? Is that what
Yeah. So if I go to now that we get out of Florida, if I go to the national radar, so this is basically the whole country. You can see that there are a couple of pretty strong rain bands, and there were several tornado. There's look, do you see all those red boxes popping up? You got a couple right there. You got one inland. You got near Hinesville, near Savannah. So again, you're getting these spin ups because um, the rain bands that are offshore encountering the friction of land, creating these spin ups, and that's why you're seeing these coastal tornado warnings in coastal Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia very much in play. South Carolina very much in play. Charleston starting to see some fringe impacts.
And look at this. I mean, you're starting to see rain as far north as Columbia already. So and even into Macon, Georgia.
Is Atlanta going to get clipped?
Yeah, not really. I don't think so. I mean, if they see any light rain, it's not going to add up to much at all. I don't really think so, and they're not really going to see much in the way of wind. Like the wind field isn't that wide with this,
Right. A couple notes. I'm very grateful for you for zooming out for a moment because we get a wider picture here.
Right.
I'm sure that there are folks in our comment section watching from Alabama and saying, thank goodness it's not us this time around, because southern Alabama has been known to get walloped by hurricanes and tropical storms. And then also, too, we've had a lot of folks, Eric, joining us from the Jacksonville area, northeast Florida. And also, too, people asking for updates about Gainesville and the University of Florida. A lot of young students there. So can we do a quick update on Jacksonville and Gainesville?
So let's go back to our Max Defender 8 radar. And again, you can see that, in the Gainesville area, you don't really have the heavy rain. Same thing in Jacksonville as of right now. But those rain bands are coming, and they eventually will continue to make their way into that area. Let me see if Tallahassee's radar shows anything different. No, not really. You can see just a couple of rain bands in the Gainesville area. The windiest conditions of out of Gainesville and Jacksonville are over now. So you've basically already seen the worst that you're going to see in Gainesville and Jacksonville in regards to Hurricane Idelia. And again, we'll put the national radar up just in case the local's missing anything. But and the national radar is a few hours. But yeah, look at that. There's really not much there in Jacksonville and even Gainesville. Just, you've got one very weak rain band, and there's not really much behind that right now. So again, the worst I think is over for Gainesville. And then Jacksonville, you're probably in the thick of the worst right now. But still, you're probably not even tropical storm force sustained wind.
I want to check in on this shot on one of our router sources. Let's go here live and see what we're looking at. This is now we're tapping into this feed and trying to get an idea as to where this is. I don't know if this is Jeff Patterson still.
I
Joey
don't think
Capistran.
so.
This could be Beth Rousseau and Hudson, trying to get a better distinguishable identifier.
That looks like a more populated area.
That looks like Beth.
I think it is.
They are in the bed of a truck in making their way through the Hudson, Florida area.
Okay.
Can you bring up Hudson on
definitely
on Max Fender 8?
got
So this is a great perspective as they drive around some of the flooded areas, hopefully areas that are just, we're talking about levels of flooding that they can safely navigate through. This shot will pick up here in just a second. The camera photographer clearly just, resting their camera for a second downward, but we'll come back to that. Let's show everybody where Beth is.
Yeah, so Hudson, so I'll zoom out so you get a better idea. So basically it's pretty close to the northernmost point in Pasco County, not quite. But again, along US 19, anything to the west of that definitely has the potential of storm surge, especially in the Hudson area, because 19 is dangerously close to the Gulf of Mexico. And look what's happening. So we'll put this radar in motion, and Hudson escaped some of that rain band, that heavy rain band that moved through Hernando Beach. But again, now you've got that other rain band that's moving through right now, and then it actually just moved through. So what's to come in Hudson? At least there's not much rain to come, but you're still seeing that wind. So even though you may not have rain in your neighborhood, look at the flooding there. That water is, a couple feet deep where that man is walking. And you don't know what's in the water. I mean, there could be Stoppy number 2, Baby Stoppy, Forky. We don't know, Buzz Lightyear. I mean, we don't know what's under that water that could, potentially harm you. Buzz Lightyear would never harm you.
Gators?
Well, so, salt water, usually not. But,
right. So areas that see, right.
But every now and then a gator somehow wanders into the Gulf of Mexico. It's very rare because
with salt water, yeah.
Right. If there's a lot of rivers and there's a lot of waterways that empty into the Gulf that are freshwater, right? Or mainly freshwater. So, I mean, anytime you see water in Florida, there could be a gator in it. Likelihood, probably not, but still, I mean, I wouldn't want to take a chance.
Yeah, more near freshwater than all of the storm surge coming in from the
Morning,
Gulf
tragic.
with salt water. People asking in our comment section about sharks. Sharks are not really going to find themselves in storm surge waters. It's considered to be an extremely remote chance. And even if it was a shark, we're not talking about a larger species of shark that most people are familiar with. If there was
not Meg or Meg 2,
it would be a very, very, very small nurse shark or reef shark, even in that extreme remote possibility with storm surge waters moving. And look at all those cars. Wow, let's go full screen. I mean,
I tell you,
are these cars totaled?
Oh yeah.
I mean, look. I mean, Eric, I know you've had experience with that. In the past.
Yeah.
I mean,
once the water, and again, when I came out to my car in Fort Lauderdale, the water was up to the door, and I tried to move to higher ground, but there was really nowhere to go, and I was safe. I knew I would be safe. It wasn't storm surge water in Fort Lauderdale. This was just low-lying downtown area.
Wow, look at this. This is Hudson, Florida.
Storm surge. This is this is the dangerous flood water that you don't want to get caught.
So
in a
far,
car. Yeah, I mean, I saw cars in Fort Lauderdale when I was there that were up to the middle of their windows. You know what I'm saying? And anytime water gets in your car, I tell you, JB, when I went, I had to go back to Fort Lauderdale and get all my stuff out of the car, right? And the mildew smell, the mold smell, even shortly after, from water just being,
I'm pretty sure
and the
that's
water was
where-
only, it wasn't even a foot deep in the car. Water getting into your floorboards, it's done. It's just, you'll never get the smell out. You'll never get the mold out, and the car's totaled.
So, very important to note that now our reporters took a little bit of a break to conserve battery, grab a quick bite to eat, hydrate, do all the things that they need to do, and now their signals are popping back up in preparation for our late morning newscast, and also to various cut-ins that we have on WFLA News Channel 8. So there, people who are saying, oh, why is the cameraman pointed at the bed of this truck? Why am I seeing, someone's lap right now? It's because the cameraman is completely oblivious to the fact that we haven't even have this shot punched up. He's just what we call in the industry spraying video, looking for video opportunities to capture, 6 seconds here, 6 seconds there. So that's why he's kind of resting the camera right now, probably on his lap. So that's a little bit of a behind the scenes as to why we're seeing the camera shot like this. But we have other shots that are now popping up on the grid. I'm going to hit the touch screen here and change this source. But see, here's the thing. These sources are all popping up randomly now, and I don't have locators on them yet. But this is another area that's been flooded. Now all of these reporters and photographer crews, they are moving into the areas hardest hit. And now we're starting to see what Idelia has left behind.
Yeah, we may be wall-to-wall coverage on WFLA through, I think, 12 o'clock at least. So as far as the reporters, sometimes it's not necessarily the reporters moving into harder hit areas. It's actually the areas that the reporters are at. They're getting more storm surge now
because of the tides.
Because not only that, but because the wind is shifted to the southwest and is blowing. And you heard Jeff Patterson say, look, I was standing here at 1 o'clock this morning, and at 3 o'clock, all of a sudden the water's coming up on us. So a lot of times the reporter's still in the same place, and the conditions are actually getting worse where the reporters are. And like Jeff Patterson, they have to retreat and continue to do so until, the conditions improve.
The eye wall, if you're just joining us, officially moving into Georgia, at least a portion of it. We might get a better look on radar with Eric here on the Tallahassee radar.
Yeah, Tallahassee's still picking up. Now, you're not going to see things way northeast of Waycross, but you're still seeing the worst right now hitting the Valdosta area. I mean, look at that. You've got a pretty heavy strong eye wall right into Valdosta, crossing I-75 in Georgia right now.
All right. I think our control room is trying to talk to us. If the control room has us, trying to communicate back if there's any questions, comments from the control room. We can hear you, control room.
Yep.
All right, we'll come your way with questions and comments, guys. If you're joining us on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Instagram Live, please load in your #HeyJB, #HeyEric questions and comments now. We have a television hit coming up where we're going to be interactively featuring your comments. Please let us know where you're watching from. So say hey, #HeyJB or #HeyEric. Watching from here. Look at this really quickly. Those are tires floating.
They sure are. Yep. That's what happens. Debris is going to be floating in that water.
Tires just floating away. Yeah. Thankfully, I have the touchscreen here. We could pop that up really quickly, but
yeah,
you never know what you're going to see in these waters now. Somebody just lost a set of tires. Unfortunately, would not want to be that person.
Well, maybe they were used.
People are now walking by the cameras, and we're gonna look for your #HeyJB questions and comments starting now. Everybody, where you're watching from and what your question is. Any other notes while I look for these, Eric?
No, I mean, you see the rains getting fewer and far between, which is good news. Coming us.
Oh.
That would make me really crazy. Start having snakes and, oh my God.
Yeah, hey there, Deanne. Hey there, Avery. Good to see you both. We're live on stream right now on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, and answering a lot of questions coming in from across the viewing area. And because it's online, people joining us from, northern Florida, southern Georgia, asking questions there. Let's get to this question from, let's see here. It's Pocono Locksmith on YouTube Live, #HeyJB, saying, Eric, they're joining us from an airplane ready to take off and heading to Orlando. What's the status with airports, and when is air travel going to get back to
Well,
normal?
I know at TPA, they're closed. They were closed yesterday and today, and I do expect them to reopen tomorrow morning. As for Orlando, they're not experiencing the wind that we are, although it's still pretty gusty in Orlando with those rain bands moving
Right,
in.
mamas of
I'm
the-
not sure where they're flying from, but if they're flying from the north,
No,
they're going to have to
thank
fly around Idelia to get to Orlando. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out.
No,
We've got
thank
Find
you.
Joy every day. Love that name on YouTube Live. #AJB. The Villages. My family is there. What's going on presently at the Villages?
Right.
Eric?
Well, I mean, we're basically just seeing some very light rain bands come in. Still, we're seeing wind gusts 20 to 30 miles per hour. But as Idelia weakens and moves to the north, we'll see those wind gusts die off a little bit later on today.
We've got a lot of different questions coming in, but I really think that this is my absolute favorite. And I'm going to pop this one on screen because I popped this one up earlier. I saved it for our television audience because this one made us smile. And sometimes when you're doing long storm coverage, you just need moments to smile. And we hope that we can share this smile with all of you. From Carrie joining us from Brooksville. And we can check in on Brooksville here in just a second, Eric. But she says, we ended up with some rain, some wind, and 2 baby goats. My female had her babies, and we named them Hurricane and Idelia. How great is that?
And I said the father's name is Tom Brady.
Ah, that was a great. That was the official station of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, folks.
That's
as
right.
far as Brooksville, what is it looking like on
as
radar?
As far as Brooksville, you've got another heavy rain band that's on the way to you, but there's really not too much behind it. So again, just some intermittent scattered rain bands throughout the morning, becoming a little bit more isolated this afternoon. Will be some strong gusty wind in these rain bands, 20 to 30 miles per hour.
The number one question that we are actually getting on stream, you guys, before we send it back to you, we're getting a lot of questions about. There were some models circulating on social media that had this making a U-turn and coming back to Florida. We wanted to squash that on TV in addition to live stream. Those outlier models that made that sharp U-turn and pointed, Idelia back to the central part of Florida. That's no longer in play. So be careful what you find out from people on TikTok, Instagram, those places. If you want to find us, you can find us right now on Facebook, YouTube Live, WFLA.com, where we're interactively answering your questions in our continuing coverage of Hurricane Idelia. But for now, we'll send it back over to you.
I didn't hear.
Stand by.
So we are actually riding around on an AT vehicle through the floodwaters here in Pasco County. This is going to be the best look that you can get about the damage that some of these homes are seeing. You can see some of it, it's up to the door. It's varying quite a bit. Now, as we mentioned this morning, there are crews out rescuing. That's one of the crews that we're riding along with right now. We have seen pets and people rescued over and over and over again from these floodwaters. Look at that car. Look at that water that has just risen up on that car. Keep in mind, we are not at high tide just yet. We're still seeing people trying to drive out of these floodwaters. Their vehicles are getting stuck. That is why these good Samaritans are coming out here to try and help people. We have seen people out in canoes as well, just doing everything that they can to get out of these waters as they do continue to rise. So there is danger that comes with these, not only for first responders, but for these good Samaritans that come out in it. We have seen people coming out to assess their businesses, trying to get back here to assess their homes. Deputies, law enforcement, fire rescue are asking you, please don't do that, because when you come back out here, then they have to come back out here and get you. And in some of these areas, you can see water, not necessarily all the way up to the door, but in other areas, it's waist deep. So you have to be really careful while you're out here. We're going to keep riding along, taking a closer look at this damage so we can bring you more of these images. But for now, I'm going to send it back to you in studio.
All right, that's Beth Rousseau in Hudson, Florida. Stand by, you guys, because we have more live reports now in the queue. And I believe that coming up next is going to be News Channel 8's Nicole Rogers joining us. We'll go back. Actually, hold on. Beth is still live. Let's just quickly switch back to Beth and go there. Listen in.
Rescued, and to just give us a look at the flood damage and all the water that we're seeing in this area.
There was a follow-up question there. I just wanted to get in the portion of the follow-up question. So, all right, now back to...
We just had someone hop on with us, actually. Absolutely. Yeah. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. A little okay.
Was this what you expected at all from this
No,
storm?
not at all, to be honest with you. No expectation of this.
How long have you lived here for?
I've been living in the water for 5 years.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
Not a storm surge like this. No, this is the first time. This is an exceptional one, big one. Yeah.
And as far as your home, your property, I mean, what's that look like
We
right
don't
now?
know yet. We're down here wading through the water to find out. Like we're like assuming the dock's ripped up. I'm trying to get there before the storm surge. The tide comes up some more. It's like they're saying another 3 feet, and it's going to rip the boat and the dock up. So we're walking over there to loosen the lines up, try to save the boat and the dock.
Still a lot of concerns.
Yes, still, yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you on here with us. What's your name, sir?
Shannon.
Shannon, thank you so much for talking with us. So like we said, Good Samaritans still out here trying to help people out. We're going to continue riding along with them and bring you guys those stories. I'm going to send it back to you.
All right, and now we're
So
standing by
let's-
for Nicole Rogers, who's going to be up next, tapping into her signal here on tracking the tropics. We'll get her location here in just a moment. Eric, back here with you on stream. Anything noteworthy from Beth Rousseau's shot from Hudson, Florida?
You know, the best thing is people helping people out.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, you know, where you come from, where did you come from, where did you go? Everyone's helping everyone. And that's what we like to see in situations like this.
Absolutely. Agree. And Nicole standing by for her live report. Let's listen in here live. Nicole. Hernando County, folks.
There is quite a bit of flooding, and a lot of homeowners actually that didn't evacuate, and they stayed here, and they are now just looking at this distraught. Some now kayaking through it, as you can see, but plenty of water out here in Hernando County. We did speak to multiple people who not only are their homes being flooded, but that kayak shack right there, the owner just stopped by. She was hoping that she could get in and maybe do a few things, but by now it is just too late. Now, the latest update that I did get from the Hernando County Emergency Management is that on Shoreline Boulevard, there's 3 to 4 feet and growing. In Arapica, there was approximately 5 feet of storm surge, and Hernando Beach, approximately 4 to 5 feet. So, of course, there is a lot going on here. And for homeowners, they say, the one that I spoke with at his home is flooding at the moment, he says that he doesn't regret his decision of not leaving.
Nicole here tossing to a soundbite, which is being played right now on WFLA News Channel 8. As we see here, a man with a camera and a companion. In fact, this is the guy that that gave the interview and the soundbite that they're playing. So now they're going to come back. TV's funny. So now they're going to come back to
Well,
Nicole's
interesting.
live report.
He's
Yep.
right here now that we're talking about him for his house. You just went and checked on your house. What'd you see?
Water, a lot of water.
A lot of water? How much water?
Well, about this deep in the house so far. But the way it's coming in hard, I think it's going to be higher.
And you said this reminds you of the flood from back in the 90s.
In 90s, yeah, the way it's coming in, still coming in, it's coming in at the speed that it did in the 90s. And I don't have any idea how high it'll get.
Well, I wish you the best of the luck with your home, of course. And of course, a lot of other homes here now facing damage here in Hernando County.
It's the price of living in paradise.
The price of paradise. I like that. And of course, now I did end up finally, the water went over my boot. Now it's inside in my socks. You know, I lasted about 13 hours without that happening. But, you know, Deanne, Avery, we finally made it happen. So
Wet socks.
Yeah.
Storm
not-
coverage.
I'm surprised.
Not fun.
I'm surprised she lasted that long. I mean,
Not
that's pretty good.
Fun. Then your feet are cold, and I know people are like, "Ah, it's Florida. It's in the 80s.
Yeah, the
it's
water's warm. The water's
Ah,
90 degrees. It's a warm, wet sock. but
You'll get they'll get chillier than
you
would
have to
think.
learn, like with Jeff Patterson. You saw what he was wearing, and you saw his boots, his pants. I mean, hey, you know what? It's good to see people that.
Good morning, Winnie's mom. Thank you so much. Oh, Thank you. Oh, I didn't mean for that to go off. Shoot, sorry.
That are helping others out, and
let's listen in to Jeff.
Devastating destruction here. I want you to take a look behind me. This stretch of debris here is sargassum that has come up from the Gulf
Good
of
morning,
Mexico.
Melinda.
But you can see just mixed in with that a lot of wood and furniture. There's a refrigerator over here. And what this is part of is a building that was part of the Faraway Inn. Just like the buildings over here to my right, they are now inundated with floodwater. There's actually floodwater inside. The windows have broken out. We can see the waves cresting through the windows. And so there was a building on the other side of this one, closer to the Gulf of Mexico, that was completely blown apart by the rising storm surge. And so now you're seeing the roof of that. There's a front door right here and furniture from inside of that. There's a number of condominiums that are over here to this side of me. That the first floor of them is now flooded out. I want to walk up the street here a little bit. We've seen a lot of this driving around Cedar Key, just tree debris, branches,
awful.
Leaves, and things like that have fallen from above. Fortunately, we have not seen any power lines down, although the power is out right now.
Right, Melinda.
in Cedar
Did you hear
Key. But
back?
If we can take a look over here, you can just see how devastating this has been throughout the course of the night. Much of this happened in the last couple of hours, where we saw the storm surge come up, and with it, a lot of debris, furniture, and things like that from people's homes that live down there close to the Gulf of Mexico. The storm surge behind me, we've been watching it all night long. There's a power pole down there with feet that are marked off, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 feet. At one point, the water was above the 10-foot line. We understand that because of the position of the hurricane right now, that the worst of the storm surge is past us, but the high tide is still coming in. We still have several hours left before we reach peak high tide. And I did speak to Cedar Key Fire Rescue a couple of hours ago, and they told me that all of the approach bridges leading to Cedar Key are now underwater. And of course, it will take several hours for them to be able to get out after the floodwaters recede to see what the conditions of the roadway are, what the conditions of those bridges are. We have seen some people out and about just kind of driving around that have stayed here on the island overnight. And so we've seen people out taking care of their property throughout the course of the evening, business owners who were checking on their property, homeowners checking on their property. But Cedar Key Fire Rescue told me that the businesses that are downtown, the first floor is now completely flooded out from those businesses because of the rising storm surge. And that water came up very fast. We were in downtown Cedar Key at one point throughout the course overnight, and I was able to put my hand down in the asphalt. A half hour later, the water was above that point, and an hour after that, we had to leave because it was coming up so fast. We had to drive up the hill here to be able to be safe to where we are. So power is out. There's no running water right now on Cedar Key, and Cedar Key Fire Rescue told me that Joey Capistrand, my photographer, and I may be with them for some time to come until they're able to get out and to totally assess the roadways coming into Cedar Key. I'll toss it back to you guys in the studio.
Jeff Patterson reporting for us in Cedar Key. He's the reporter closest to the impact area. He's listening in for a follow-up question. I think that's it. They have, that's Jeff's live report. We'll try and actually there's the Max
There it
Thunder 8
is.
storm vehicle.
Looking good.
Man, thank goodness for that vehicle. Otherwise, we can't get into some of these areas. Again, it's graded for being it's partially built for this purpose, or at least outfitted for this purpose, and they make adjustments to that vehicle to make it just more of a vehicle that we can use to go into areas that have flooded. I believe up next we have another
Melinda.
live report.
But
actually,
Stoppy was looking pretty good.
Yeah, look.
Did you see that?
Yeah, Stoppy very much
alive and well.
Doing what Stoppy does, which somebody said, somebody in our comment section, I did laugh when somebody in our comment section said it was a username by the name of J.E. Stoppy shall not yield. And I thought that's
I like that.
In our industry, that type of language, we always smile and smirk. Moments where we can just take a break and smile a little bit. Speaking of which, I'm gonna take some of the pet pictures that have been coming in on Twitter for us. People wanted to show some of their four-legged friends at home that are enjoying the company of their of their family members. Just everybody huddled around together to stay safe during Hurricane Idalia. We're going to be going to some of those pet photos. Clearly, I'm having trouble enunciating my words now, and it's because we're on hour 5 of live streaming and day 4 of live streaming. So I don't know how many hours we've been on stream, Eric.
5 hours and maybe
No,
I
mean total now going back to Sunday.
And I was on
It's a
live. I was on Facebook Live Saturday night. So yeah, we've been on quite a long time. But hey, you know what? It's a major hurricane. There's a lot of damage, and we're trying to protect people.
Stoppy shall not yield. I'm gonna remember that later and smirk and smile. And smiles help. Look, smiles are part of what make us go. Doom and gloom all the time. We're also here to be a reflection of you guys in our comment section. And there are a lot of folks in Florida right now, in Georgia, South Carolina, and people joining us from elsewhere that are keeping their spirits up in the comment section, and we really appreciate that. We know that this is a storm that is going to leave its mark on Florida, no doubt. Idelia will be remembered, and what, Eric, we expect to be retired, I'm sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
And so we know that there's a lot of serious subject matter here, but also it's all about the people that have, that have either, look, there are people that we are seeing on the stream getting interviewed in the impact areas, and seeing some smiles from them mean a lot to us as well. So
we're going to
really
run out of
appreciate it.
I names.
I know.
Every time an I name's retired, we have to come up with another I name.
Yeah.
So
Isaac
now,
is next.
I mean, a female I name now for Idelia. Like, what's next?
Well, Isaac is 2024.
Yep. I mean, Ida has been in. I don't know what's next.
They'll invent I names. I am sure they'll find I names to get to next. But no, Donna in our comment section is spot on. Idelia will be retired, and the I names are getting used up and retired as far as the Atlantic hurricane naming system, no doubt. Any comments or questions before we move on?
I can't remember how they.
I think Chloe Sparks is going to be last.
How
up
they
in
do
this
that
round of live reports, Eric? Anything you're noticing on radar?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to just pop up radar real quick, we talked about Valdosta, and so now the worst is occurring in Valdosta, and it's moving just to the east, the center, Lake Park to Dasher, up toward Lakeland, and that's Lakeland in Georgia, toward Homerville. That's the next to get really hit with the eye wall, or what's left of the eye wall, the outer edge of the center of circulation. So
Let's see
again,
what's going on.
the 100-mile-an-hour wind
else.
gusts now right around Valdosta, Dasher, and into Lakeland in South Georgia.
We've got Chloe on standby for the next live report. We've also got questions and comments coming in on YouTube Live, on Facebook Live. We will do our very best to answer as many of them as possible. But this one has been sitting in my queue for a little bit of a while, so I would just like to get to it. And it comes in from Miriam on YouTube Live, #KJB. I'm watching you from Iraq. What are the conditions of Tallahassee in the coming hours, Eric?
Yeah, Tallahassee is pretty much finished with this.
That is good news for you, Libby Dean.
Yeah. This is this is Tallahassee radar. So she's probably, she's well to the west of that really strong rain band that's right around Perkins. I'm sure she knows Lafayette, St. Peter. That's where the heaviest rain
Hold
is
on one
now.
second. Check this out. Check out Chloe Sparks' umbrella. They're wiping the lens here to get ready for Chloe's live report, I believe from Tarpon Springs, right?
Umbrella's
And watch,
done.
the umbrella shot. Look at it.
That's a Max Defender and umbrella too.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Don't even try it, Chloe.
It's done for Chloe.
Umbrellas and
Well, no.
hurricanes do not go well together.
Yep. She's you should have seen it a moment ago. It was completely inside out and it was lost. And Chloe, I believe, is friends with
I've
Libby,
done that
right?
to
Libby,
an umbrella in
you
good weather.
a friend of Chloe Sparks here?
Yes, I am. We actually went to school together at the University of Oklahoma. Nitty-gritty details, we were in the same sorority.
Look at that. You guys are now at the same state, reporting for the same station, and you're on the same story, talking about Hurricane Idelia. Eric was just noting on radar, talking about the conditions with the conditions there in Tallahassee after Miriam, one of our commenters, was talking about Tallahassee. Things are clearly improving up there in Florida's capital.
Yeah, they definitely are. I peeked outside just a few minutes ago, and yeah, it's decreasing when it comes to those strong winds and strong rain. Looks like the photog might need a better thing to clean that. Poor Chloe.
I'm
You
laughing.
can't even
I'm
see her.
laughing.
Use your shirt.
That was Malik, and I like how
Meanwhile,
Malik.
there's a
like,
father
looked
and
in.
son behind them walking by.
Oh my gosh, this
Chloe,
is
Where's
awesome.
their umbrellas?
Chloe has no idea that she's on camera.
They're in shorts and t-shirts.
No, she has no idea. We're gonna send this to Chloe later, and she'll be like, "Guys, I wasn't ready for
She's like,
my
you're not
live
my friend
report."
anymore.
Yeah, but that was a great cameo from Malik, who does extraordinary work for us overnights. He's our overnight photographer at WFLA, and man, is he an asset? So it was. I smiled and I laughed because it was great to see a cameo from Malik there, Eric, who's a stand-up guy.
Yeah, I mean, and did you see the people that walked by? Right, they're in shorts and t-shirts and stuff like that. And speaking of Oklahoma University, I mean, you want to talk about one of the top meteorologist schools for getting a master's, a PhD, I mean, whatever you want. That's a really, really good school for weather.
And she is frozen.
Ah,
she is delivering her live report up, and there goes her signal. They just took her on WFLA News Channel 8, and her shot froze up for the first time in 20 minutes. So, oh, wait, and now she's... And of course, they cut away to her and went to a weather graphic, and she's automatically back. That's sometimes the luck of
That's
TV.
what happens.
She froze up as they were tossing to her in the field. So they're going to try to get her back now, and we'll see if that works. Again, we're tapping into this camera feed, but they did go to commercial break. So they're going to try to come back to her again in a moment. Bringing up Max Defender 8 meteorologist Eric Stone, myself. Libby's joining us from Tallahassee as well, and we'll keep, Libby on standby as well. Notes, Eric, with any of the other live reports we just had come in, other things that you're observing at this hour?
I mean, I'm just observing the heaviest rain now moving into inland counties, and again, we're awaiting the high tide. What are we at now? 10:45.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna check out some different.
Not quite over yet. I think the surge kind of lagged a little bit here. I mean, I know this was kind of didn't get the worst of the surge that it could have got because that eye took that east wobble. But I tell you what, man, it looks bad down there, but it was probably only about a mile or two from being an absolute disaster.
Oh yeah, there ain't no doubt about that. Yeah, I'm just gonna head up 361 too. That's the only that's literally the last chance of getting up there. So I want to get up there. So if I got a saw, I got a saw.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye out for the remnants of mine.
I think too with the wind flow that it was well, no, the winds were coming out of the northeast for a little bit for us, but if we had more southwesterlies, then I think the power lines were on the east side of the road, so coming north shouldn't be that much of an issue with power lines, just trees down.
Right.
I think we already passed 361.
I made this mistake this morning too.
I think we literally Nice. I still want to look at it.
Step right up. Everybody's taking turns gawking at this stuff. How much you want to bet somebody puts this branch here to signify the flooded road?
Wow, that's terrible.
Probably a good idea.
Good morning, Andy. Oh, goodness. Have you talked to them? Find out if they're doing okay? Prayers for everybody, yes.
Gotta get my vest.
Copy.
My goodness. Devastated.
Let me see if I can get the PTZ camera. So I'll back up for you guys.
Yeah, I don't see how he's going to get through there. My word, look at that.
Where's my PTZ remote? This is real quick.
That's terrible. Well, I think I'll pop off of here, guys, and I'll keep an eye on this and come back on in a little bit. See what's going on with it. And prayers to everybody involved.
There.
You haven't talked to him. Oh, good, good, good. Glad to hear that, Andy. Very glad. Very glad. Okay, guys, I'm going to pop back on in a little bit. I'm going to hop off now and take care of this baby. It is, Rebecca. It's so sad. Good morning, by the way. Okay, I'm going to pop back on in a little bit, guys. All right, prayers to everybody. Thank you so much for watching this with me for a little bit. Everybody take care.